it worth it? Is it for the future? The family. I want more. I want freedom. I'm purpose driven for equality. You're gonna know my name. I'm still the same. Ain't nothing changed. You're gonna know I am good. Respect me and my legacy. And I wish you would. Google me, read my story. You're gonna know my name. Welcome to the Face Behind the Brand. Episode 131. Have an incredible guest with us tonight. Encore presentation. Friend of the show is back tonight. I am excited. Very, very thankful and grateful to see you. How are you tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Face Behind the Brand. I am your host, as you know, Monique Marie, and you are the incredible vocal performer, prolific songwriter, Ethiopian queen, Bay Area recording artist, Samri.
Thank you for having
Welcome
me.
back.
I don't know if I can follow that intro, but thank you for having me. It's always fun catching up.
Absolutely. You know, I had to bring you in, had to bring you back. I'm just so excited that you're here. So you know my favorite jam. Yes. Kasana, of course, available now on all platforms. Listen, yes, had to bring you in and greet you nicely. Yes, this is off the album Set, everybody. For those of you first time on the show, getting to know this incredible artist. One of the singles off the album. And as I said before, this is available on all platforms. Hey. I'm not gonna play the whole song, so I don't want to ruin it for you. So again, is available now on all platforms. So how are you tonight, the beautiful queen, Samri? I'm wonderful. I thank you for, of course, this amazing, amazing opportunity and taking time out of the middle of your week to come back. This is not just your first time to the show. You are definitely a friend of the show. This is your third time on the show, and it is a pleasure having you back. So how was your day today, and what was that like for you?
Not too bad, because I'm currently working on music, so I'm a little bit busy, but you know, it's a good kind of busy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Kind of busy.
Yeah, yeah. So for those of the people who are joining us tonight that don't know Samri, Samri is, of course, here in the Bay Area. She is a recording artist, but I'll let you talk about a little bit of your transition because, of course, you are Addis born, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so give everyone a little bit of your background.
Born and raised in Addis, went to college here in California. Yeah, recording artist, singer, songwriter. That's pretty much it. I think you've
Yeah.
covered it.
Yeah. So when we last spoke, we stopped off at one of the singles off the album, and of course, the amazing, incredible album drop. 13 tracks, correct, off the album set?
Actually, 12.
Is it 12? I gave you another one. Okay, so 12 tracks.
I do have 13 songs out, but one was a single that.
Okay, so that's probably what, yeah, okay, so 12. And then of course, when I last interviewed Samri, she had just released one of those singles, and it was Forget About Mareña. Am I saying that right?
Forget about Maria.
My accent. So Set is an incredible, amazing album. So let's get right into it. I let everybody hear Kasana. Talk to me about Kasana and the process, and of course, explain to us what you are talking about in this amazing song.
Kasana is the third single out of the album States.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a music video for it. Please go check it out. We actually have 2 music videos for it. One is like a B-roll with the lyric video. Great production, has a lot of story in it, and I'm excited every time someone watches it for the first time because it's sort of an unusual kind of music video. So Kasana is basically, the word itself is a popular name. So I named the girl in the story Kasana, but the meaning of the word is like, it's like saying freedom, but not really. It's like freedom of the soul, sort of. You know? So that's why I named her Kasana, because it's sort of a feminist anthem to say every girl, every female is born free. That's her name, is Kasana.
Yeah.
So I wanted the name to imply, because you know the world is not a fair place. We live in a man's world. So it's literally saying no one's going to set you free, no man is going to set you free, no amount of beauty is going to set you free. You have to set yourself free, because you are born Kasana. You are born.
I love that.
So I mean, could be controversial because a lot of people hate the word feminist.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
As far as feminist.
Everyone like, because it's a highly politicized word.
Yeah.
And a word has power. People always try to take the power away. So your feminist may not be the same as my feminist, you know?
Absolutely.
My feminist is that any person, right? Any person born to any gender is a human being, and according to that should be respected as a human being and should have human rights that cannot be taken away by anybody.
I love that.
So I too am female, and I too am human. And even though we live in a man's world, right? This should be a human world and not a man's world. So when people are like all up in arms, and the song becomes very controversial, because then they'll be like, why do you say men are not going to set you free? Because no one can set you free. Because if your freedom depends on somebody else, you're actually not free, because your freedom's conditional, and it should not be conditional. So that's why I have Lady Justice in the picture as well, because, you know, women are always, you know, abused, hurt, and killed by their partners every day in the world. This is a phenomenon, and this has been the history of mankind. But there's no justice for women, right? There's no equitable justice for women. So we're just like, that's why Lady Justice at the end takes off her blindness or whatever, right? That's how I wrote her, because it's supposed to be fair. It's supposed to not matter who you are, what you are, to get justice. But now it matters, because history has shown us, like even to this day, we see that women are having to prove themselves to even be considered, right, worthy of justice every single day.
I was just going to talk about that with the, you know, Roe versus Wade. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's why when I wrote this story, even though there are 5 different characters in the music video, and they mean different things to different people, and they should mean different things to you. I don't want to impose my ideas or my visions for them on the audience, but it's to show the different aspects of what's expected of us, and the different aspects of womanhood and what they represent. So the song has a far greater message than than what, you know, than what it seems like on the surface. But I love that some people really, really get it, and it has helped them heal. It has given them a voice, and some people comment on my videos and call me Kasana, and I'm like, I will take that name.
Okay, any day. You know me.
I'm like, I am fine with the name. I'm not mad at this. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot in there. I'm always the person who's like, I don't want to give you my version of the story. I want you
Yeah.
to experience the story for yourself and see what it means to you. But especially for girls, I would say watch it.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And as you see, of course, we are talking about, of course, the visual, since we are on that topic. Amazing, amazing visual to define exactly what you just shared with us. Theatrical even, but yes, to the point of what you're talking about. So talk to me about location and the process, and of course, directed by, is it Brian Stokes? Is it?
No, Jason.
Jason Stokes. Okay, Jason Stokes, amazing direction. And tell us about the location and the process.
The entire thing was shot at Joshua Tree National Park. If you've never been, you should. It's very beautiful.
Yes, pretty.
But not an easy location to shoot at.
Yeah, yeah.
It's basically in the middle of the desert. It's very windy. In one of them, I'm kneeling next to cholla cactuses, which are deadly.
Oh my God, Samri.
And it takes forever to get them out. We had a whole situation with the cholla cactuses. It took us a few days to shoot this. We had 5 characters, 5 looks. And I am standing on a hill holding a sword and a scale, blindfolded on top of a peak, sort of.
Unbelievable. This is amazing.
Mountain, yeah. So that wasn't CGI, because a lot of people would like that was CGI.
Yeah.
That was not CGI. Almost died for this video.
Girl.
Not gonna lie.
Well, it came out fabulous.
Yeah, that character was very important to me. She's the first character I wrote, the Lady Justice character. So I'm like, we have to get that. If we don't get any of them, we have to get that. So I was very adamant about that. So I was really happy we got 2 of each disciple.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I love this visual. As in, I love the song, of course. And it's funny, I think I shared this when I first met you, and of course interviewed you, I should say. I had no clue, of course. I don't speak the language, but I felt the language. I felt what you were saying, and that's what drew me to you. And it's like, and we talk a lot about this, and we'll go into more about your background too, because it's like what music is about, is it not? It's about feeling and attracting, of course, one, and making an impact, literally through sound, and your voice and the delivery is what got me. And I was just like, I need to know who this is. And I need to know now, and of course the rest is history. So the other song, of course, that of course I'm driven by is it Dina Hume?
Dina Hume.
Why is everything on my own accent with it? Dina Hume.
You're doing good. You just have to put some African in it.
Dina
and back.
Dina Hume.
Yes. You got it.
Okay. Okay, so talk to us about Dina Hume. That's another one off the album Say. Talk to me about that one and the process on that song. Beautiful, another beautiful song, by the way.
Yeah, it's actually one of, I think, if not my favorite song of the album.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of messages about the song. Dina Hume means colloquial for goodbye, but I think literal translation would be like farewell.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a goodbye song. It has a lot of metaphors in it. It could be for someone who's passed away, or for someone leaving home for the first time, coming of age. So it's a sad story, but it's beautiful. It's about blessing the people who are moving on, either be in life or transitioning to another form. Yeah, I get a lot of messages about the song. It's one of my favorites. Yeah. Just wrote it on a guitar. We kept it simple. Yeah.
It's amazing, because we talked about this when we spoke last about writing, and as you of course spoke of, we know you're a prolific writer, and you talked about writing every day, which is crucial, and important. And talk to me about your consistency with writing.
Yeah, writing, like, it's a muscle. You need to practice it. Storytelling is not easy, especially to make things concise and palatable for other people. It's just a practice that you should do every day. If you're an athlete, you work out every day, right? You don't be like, oh, I have a game Saturday, so I'm going to work out Friday. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Same for arts. And I wish we could all take our own advice. It's really hard to stay consistent. But
I know.
Discipline is everything. Discipline is everything. So I used to write a lot when I was younger. I didn't need the reminder. I would write about everything and anything. That's what I would say. If you're a writer and you're a storyteller, write about anything and everything. Like I would literally watch a movie and write a song from each character's point of view. That's how much I used to write. I'd be like, oh, I saw it from this angle, right? That's how I got my practice. But more recently, I've learned this little trick. I think it's Jerry Seinfeld who said this about writing jokes. He said, you should have a calendar in front of you and cross it out every day. No matter how terrible it is, you should write a joke a day. So I was like, oh, this could apply for songwriting. So hence, I have.
Look at you.
Songwriting calendar, put it in front of you where you see it. This is my laptop. I use it every day. So as you can see, I have missed maybe 3 days this month, right? But I usually make up for them. I write more than one if I miss a day. So at least I write 30 a month. So I do that. Like by the end of the night when I'm having dinner, if my thing is not checked out, whatever I felt that day, I'll write a song about it. Whatever I watched that day, I'll write a song about it. So if you're a writer or a creator of any kind, even a dancer, an athlete, you do crafts, whatever it is, practice something every single day. Discipline will pay off in the long run. And if you have a great idea for a song and you don't really like what you wrote, write the same song, the same idea every single day. By the end of the week, you will have so much to work with. You'd be like, I've told this story 7 different ways. See which way works, So rewrite the same songs, the same stories. Tell them over and over again until they make sense to you, until you've put everything you have in your heart and in your mind on the page. Then I love that. So you can have some authenticity, because whenever I write, I don't think about anyone hearing that song. I don't think about it because I've written thousands and thousands of songs and poems and maybe a fraction of that people will be able to hear. So if you want to keep your storytelling honest, you have to write it as if no one's going to hear it. Yes. You're already self-criticizing and listening to the feedback, because we know how the social media world works, right? If you're thinking about that when you're writing, it will not be authentic. You'll be trying to please the majority. So you will water down your art, and what it will be is it will be good enough for most people, but it will be mediocre. It won't be special. Yeah. So that's the thing about Kasana. A lot of people are like, I never thought anyone would say this in a song. Yes. I never thought anyone would say this in a song. And I was like, when I wrote it, I wasn't writing it for an audience. I was writing it for myself. So that's why when I decided to record the song, I didn't stutter. I didn't change things. I didn't change it for an audience. I kept the story as authentic as I can make it. The same with my album, like it's titled Sates, which means female or woman, right? Wow. And a lot of people were like, even girls were like, Sates? Like, you named the album Sates? Like, are you sure about this? Like, and I was like, yeah, what's the problem? Yes. And what's the problem with being a woman? Why is it a problem that I named it Sates? Yes, Sates. I wear this as a badge of honor. That's who you are. This is what I am. And it's so because the album just spoke to me. I literally told my producer, I honestly, if I'm being honest, I want to name it Safe. Every single thing that I see is such a woman's experience. And even the pop songs, it has such a feminine voice. It is such a feminine voice that the album is just called, the name is calling out to me. Like I can't just be safe. Because there was a time when I considered Music Anakta, which is the first single. It means love and music. So I thought, I love that idea as well. So I thought, and he was like, if the album's telling you that, you should do that. And I was like, yeah, I've never done anything to please other people. In terms of, I'd say, but a lot of people were taken aback. Even girls were like, I'm like, why are you afraid of this? Well, people are afraid. They're afraid to, touch different stones, if you will, turn them over. But it's not even that. This is it reminds me of that song, I Am Every Woman. If you think about it, when Chaka Khan initially came out, and it was for all of us. It's not just about what someone's thinking. It's like, I am speaking for the woman who doesn't want to speak and who is afraid to speak. So that's at least what I'm getting from it all. So let me touch on a little bit of your background too. You have classical background education in classical music. Am I saying it right? Pedagogy? Yeah, classical technique. Okay. So talk to us about that. You went to, of course, which is interesting, Cal State East Bay, which of course I wasn't there. not this past 10 years, not past 10 years.
Now I'm saying how old I am. No, but you graduated recently from Cal State East Bay, and tell us a little bit about your background and also some of the principles, of course, of classical technique.
Well, what can I tell you? Honestly, I'm not a classical singer of any kind. I don't.
Which is crazy, right?
Classical singer. I would say I was classically trained. I did it for school. I will say that I have some understanding of classical technique.
Okay.
It's not something that I use in my day-to-day.
Daily, yeah.
But that being said, classical is a technique, but anything you do with singing, with your
Yes.
voice, is working out your muscles. So obviously, classical training helped me develop my voice. I am someone who suffers with performance anxiety. Everyone who knows me knows this.
Yeah.
So being in a classical environment where you're singing without a microphone, no one's tapping, clapping, or snapping or singing along with you. People are just quiet and just watching you. It's a nerve-wracking experience, even for the experienced performer, right?
Yeah.
Because it feels a little unnatural, especially when you come from the pop world and you're used to either people dancing or talking, and then it's just all eyes on you. So if you have performance anxiety, it's one of the ways to, it's like the deep end, right?
Yeah.
Deep end, and you're singing without a microphone and you have to project sound. So there's a lot of things that go into the classical training. But yeah, it helped me develop my voice, and it helped me get over my performance anxiety to some degree. It's not something you get over, but you just get better at managing it, as it were. So yeah, I went to Cal State East Bay. I loved my teachers. It was very difficult. I think it's the most difficult schooling I've ever done in my life, even though I've been in school almost all my life.
I know.
Yeah, music school is really, really hard, but it's rewarding, and it gets you doing the things that you're not really good at and you don't like doing. So
yeah.
it teaches you discipline. So I appreciate it for that.
Yeah. Well, you play quite a few instruments, I'm learning. So
play is a stretch, okay? Play.
Here comes the guitar week, because
Nope.
So talk about some of the instruments that you're adding into your, of course, your daily exercises, and of course adding to what's about to happen, because and we talk a little bit about what's going on when it comes to the transition and transformation of crossing over into, of course, American music and song and English.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm bilingual, trilingual. I speak a few languages, and I write in multiple languages. And yeah, like, I think the next record, I'll say expect some English songs. I won't go into detail about the album because I'm just making it, and I don't know if it's gonna morph into its own thing. I know it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, currently working on crossover songs, a crossover album. As far as instruments, I'm not a player of any instruments. I dabble enough to figure out my way around songwriting and what I want it to sound like. But yeah, if I could, I love the guitar. I'd love to be better at playing guitar. But yeah, every songwriter dabbles with like guitar and piano. Yeah, things like that.
Well, so much has happened, and I always talk about adding this into writing, and I want to ask you, I was talking to a person just earlier today, and I asked her this question, and she just we both start crying, talking about the pandemic and the transition and what we've learned. And, people, obviously, we were both talking about people we've lost, unfortunately, but what have you learned from the pandemic, humbly speaking? And how has that obviously been helpful to your music?
I mean, the pandemic, I think, honestly, has like shown us the state of the world, and it's also exposed us to ourselves.
Yeah,
that's the biggest lesson, because when you're by yourself, you're just like, you have no place to hide, So we kind of got exposed to who we are, and we also got exposed to who we are as as a species. Like, there's a lot of things that went wrong, and there's a lot of things that went right too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People rallied for each other, and people also rallied against each other.
Yes.
So it was just more of like a very honest experience of the world. And for those of us who are experiencing it as an adult, it took away or maybe reaffirmed some of the ideals we had.
Yeah.
So yeah, the fact that all of these things that we think about on day-to-day life, all of our ancestors have been fighting against. Most of these things still exist, and seeing that is very painful. Also seeing, you know, the human suffering and the scale of it, but also how people rallied for each other and supported each other and went out on marches and food drives and things like that. So yeah, it's just truth. I saw truth, and I also saw hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Come a little closer. I'm losing your beautiful face there. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So some of the shadows, I think it's something from outside. It's like I could see like a long.
I think it's my window. Should I move?
You can, like, to the left or to the right. Go like maybe that way, but I don't want the sun to be in your face. Go all the way to the left. Let's see. A little bit more. No, go all the way to the right. I'm sorry. A little more. A little bit more. Is that in your face?
Yeah, it's in my face. It's okay if it's in my face.
Okay.
You're editing this, right?
Say it again.
You're editing this video?
A little bit. It's just some of it is just shadowy.
I mean, if I'm moving around, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, we're
maybe let me try to move by the window again.
Yeah.
Because the sun just moves so fast.
Yeah, because that's what sometimes happens during an interview, and I notice people are like, oh, it's getting darker. I'll be doing the East Coast, and it's like 9 o'clock already. And
yeah, that's why I told you 7, because then we can have the natural light.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's natural light. Okay. There you go. Yes, she's back.
The interview over again.
Yeah, wait a minute. It's you. Yeah. She's like, okay, just edit all of that.
She's like, we don't care what you look like, girl. It's not that important.
I'm leaving all of this too.
So you tell me if you can see, because it's so bright.
That's why I told you. I'm gonna tell you. This is perfect. It was like getting darker. So while you were talking, I didn't want to interrupt you, but now this is much better. So, very important question. Tennis shoes or stilettos?
Both.
But if you only could choose one and take with you.
I am an extreme girl. It's either tennis shoes or stiletto. I don't do in between.
Okay. Snickers or Twix?
Yeah, Twix. Hello. Top 2 though. I'm a candy girl. I don't know how you know this, but
I was gonna add Rolos in there, but I'm like, I'll give her just Snickers or Twix. Okay. So of course, we know, of course, that you are also a teacher, correct? You have students, younger children. What are the age groups?
I think right now I have my youngest is 7, my oldest is maybe 17. It varies. I've taught people anywhere between the ages of 5 to people in their 60s. So
crazy, amazing.
It varies, yeah.
She has so many trades and so much talent. So speaking of the younger and the youth, if you could tell your younger self one thing about this journey that you're on, what would it be, Samri?
Start now. Start yesterday.
Woo!
Just do it. I swear to God. I think that's the thing when you get older, you're like, what was I worried about again?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, do it. I tell everyone, do it. Don't wait to be experienced. Don't wait to get educated. Don't wait to do anything. Whatever it is that you're doing to get better, you can do it parallel to you making mistakes.
Wow.
Just do it.
Yeah.
The more you do, the better you get. I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back to being 13. I would just be releasing songs at 13. I would be crazy. I'm like, just do it. Do it. You only get better.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's funny. I can remember the first song I wrote at 13, and it was about a plant.
My first song was a love song.
Really?
It was a love song. It was titled "Tell Me." I don't know what I was. I literally came after school, wrote it, and I'm like, I'm a musician now.
Yes.
My new song. That's it.
I was about to say, sing us a little bit of.
Oh my Lord. I don't even remember. I just remember the title because I actually gave it a title. And I was like, can I do that?
Tell me. Yeah, absolutely.
What would the government say? Like, can I? Is
so funny. Well, speaking of being, of course, a songwriter, a lyricist, a person who, of course, dives into words. There's a point, of course, in the show when we do wordplay. And of course, I just pull out words for you. Might be one word, might be two words, might be a song title. I don't know. Whatever comes to mind first, no wrong or right. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm scared, but I'm ready.
Cultivation.
Talent.
Ooh, elaborate more on that.
If you don't cultivate it, talent means nothing.
Ooh.
So perseverance and working on your gifts and discipline is everything.
I love it.
The world is full of people with unfulfilled talent. Everyone has one. If you're not special, everyone has one. What makes you special is how dedicated you are to it and seeing through the vision, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Not quitting, basically. Just keep going.
I love that. I was watching, I watched so many people. It's crazy. I think it was, who was I watching? Gary Vee or Denzel Washington, somebody, and that's what he was talking about, dreams. So people say, oh, I'm a dreamer and I'm this and I have these dreams, but it's like, when you wake up, are you fulfilling those dreams? Because pretty much when you're dreaming, you could wake up into, the same life in the same world. And that's what he said. It's the consistency that equals, of course, those dreams becoming reality, obviously in the dedication and all that. So I love that. Harmony.
I don't know why I want to say peace, but that's the first word. I can't.
Yes, okay. It's, again, no wrong or right. Originality.
Swag. I don't know. You're doing this to me. I'm not to blame.
Swag. I don't know. Okay. And of course, last but not least, something, of course, I think about you is dynamic.
Oh, interesting.
Dynamic.
As the only word I can think of is layers.
Ooh, I like that. Elaborate.
I think that's how I see people. I think that's how I see the world, and that's how I see people. There's always layers to everything, right? The world is very caught up with the top surface, right? It's like the song. You see the cover art and you think something, right? But if you go in, the layers are different, The layers are very varied, and I also think that's how we are as humans. Is like experience gives us those layers, and sometimes when we know better, we shed some of the layers that we don't need.
Ooh. So deep. Yeah.
So dynamics, like in music, like in art, like in life, right? It's important. It's the sauce.
Absolutely.
It's definitely the sauce.
Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of layers, do you feel that when it comes to life in general, do you ask enough questions or do you settle for what you know?
I think I'm pretty good at asking questions. That was always my thing. People always say you always ask questions.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Because I always feel like in any room, the most important thing is asking the right questions and not having the right answers or even getting them. Because if you already know your questions, the universe will supply the answer. That's usually what I do. I'll be like, I have this thing. I don't know how to solve it. I'll just keep asking myself the question. And sometimes I'll just wake up and I'm like, oh, what if I do this? And then the answers will be given to you. But if you're so preoccupied with the answers you have of yourself for yourself, you don't actually grow. So I always tell this to my friends. I'm like, ask questions. I always write questions wherever I go. If I'm meeting someone, I have a list of questions.
Yeah.
And I have a follow-up to the follow-ups. So
absolutely,
very important.
Absolutely. One thing I like about you, and of course, especially when I met you and we got a chance to speak, and I can spend time with your energy, per se. You're very self-aware, which is very humbling. There's sometimes you can be around people and they don't know who they are, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but it's very important to know who you are and who God is in you. Talk to me about self-awareness.
That's a loaded question. I feel like it's a work in progress, but
yeah,
it's one of those things. Like I feel like life has different segments. To me, when I was younger, I was like, there's the spiritual life, and then there's the worldly life, and
Yeah.
there's your dreams, and there's the people you're with. But they kind of go together in harmony. As you get older, you realize, oh, I'm actually seeing all of this from, from one big
Yeah.
sort of people. So for me, self-awareness is just first knowing that you don't know anything, and that you're always on the quest, and that there is no destination to anything. Right
Mm.
now, what's happening, the journey is the actual destination.
Yeah.
If you want to be a musician, people think the destination is you releasing an album or something going viral or you getting this award or this recognition. But the musician life is the destination.
Absolutely.
The quest to being great at what you do, the quest and the need to share, to connect with people, to be a voice for people, to make something of healing and celebration, or whatever your media is, whatever
Yes.
you have in you, that is the life. So if you're aware of that and you are committed to that journey, I think it gives you sort of a platform to stand on. You'll be like,
Yeah.
this is who I am. It's not just what you do. I don't see it as a career, right? Because everybody has their own gifts, their own ideals, their own, and you can change your mind at any given time. But who you are inside, right?
Inside.
That's the thing that remains consistent, is
Yeah.
just that flow from the soul. So yeah, self-awareness is something you work on, and the more you do, the more you learn. That's why I always say do, because the more you do, the more you realize who you are and what you want, what you don't want, who you want to be, what you don't want to be, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, since I knew for sure, I think I was 12 or 13, I knew for sure that not only was I going to be a musician, that I was a musician. I actually wrote it down like, I am a musician. Now I'm going to go
Yes.
figure out how to be one.
Yes.
I didn't know how to be a musician, but I knew in my heart that I was one.
Yeah.
So when something tells you who you are, don't argue with it. Don't ask the
Mhm.
world its opinions, right? If I went and told someone I'm going to be a musician, they would have told me, girl, right? Don't, yeah, don't,
Yeah.
don't, don't, don't seek that validation. If you know what you are inside, and you know what you want, claim it as your own.
Yeah.
You figure it out like everybody else.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. I love that. Well, we know, of course, a lot of the strengths, of course, that you hold. Talk about a weakness.
weakness. Oof, I have so many. Performance anxiety is one of them. I really don't like attention. I dislike it deeply, truly. I always
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's something wrong with me when people look at me.
Staring and yeah, watching you.
I've been working on it for a very
Yeah.
long time. Get better every day. My other weakness, perfectionism, because I want everything to be perfect. You don't get started or you don't finish anything.
Yeah.
That's the thing with making music. You make music and you're like, I don't like it. It's not there yet. And that's the thing. That way you outgrow stuff, right? So this is something like my producer taught me, which is a wonderful thing, which is like, if you made an album a year ago and you don't release it, you're already a better musician.
Yeah.
You're not the same musician you were a year ago. So you're
Yeah.
never going to want to release it now that you've outgrown it. You're
Absolutely. Yeah. You got better stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why he was like, no, you made it, release it.
Yeah.
That you learn from it, right? And in the future, if you believe in some of these songs and you love them so much, you want to redo them, you want to remix them, whatever, right? Do your magic. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But when you are trying to go for perfect or trying to emulate someone you think is perfect and you want to be just like them, it's just such a paralyzing thing. And
Yeah.
it's like the number one root cause of procrastination for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because we want to be good enough, old enough, mature enough, practiced enough, accredited enough, educated enough, and you'll never there's no enough.
Yeah.
So perfectionism is the reason why I didn't do a lot of things when I had the opportunity to do them, or where I told myself, you're not ready yet. And I wish I could go back and undo it. But you also need those things, because I had done that in the past. Now I am unwilling.
Yeah.
I am unwilling to do that to myself anymore. But perfectionism is something I struggle with every day, especially in the studio. I struggle with this a lot, because when you're hearing your own work for the first time, you don't like it. You're like, does it even make sense? I don't
Yeah.
like the voice. I don't like this run. I don't like this phrasing. So you're very hypercritical. It's happens to all of us, happens to most of us. So you just have to keep going. You have to keep showing up for work. You have to keep going to the studio and refine things until, you know what I mean? You feel satisfied enough to be like, this is where I'm at this level. I like it enough to release it, to share it with people. So
Yeah.
yeah, perfectionism is a big one.
One of the things, one of my producer, and he says it's a lot. I mean, it's funny because when I met him, he mainly, the majority of his clients were, you know, hip hop artists. But of course, now that, of course, he's signed and, you know, he's out there, he does a lot of everybody, you know, and a lot of R&B artists, a lot of singers. And he just said one thing one time, I just kept going over and over. I didn't want, it took literally almost, I want to say over 2-3 years, just holding a song. And he was like, one thing about you singers, you know, he's like, you just keep trying to complete it. He's like, it's done already. You know, it's now, honestly, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but I get what you're saying. He was like, it can be perfect enough. I want you to be happy with what you're releasing, you know, but it's never going to be perfect. And he's one of the people who is big on, I mean, he's been Grammy nominated and everything. He hates talking about awards, you know, because he is one just like, I just enjoy the craft, you know, always and never forget that. Just keep enjoying the craft. This is it. And I think I have this conversation with every artist I interview, you know. If you pick yourself apart, I mean, there's only one perfect, and that's God, you know. So if we pick ourselves apart so much to where it kind of takes the joy out of it, you know, then it's no longer fun. And so he'll pause and he'll say, who's your favorite singer? You know, if I bring up Aretha or Patty, he'll literally pause the session and pull up Patty or, you know, Aretha and let's watch this whole video right now. You know, get some inspiration, whatever it is, but just go back in there with that. And it just kind of would change my mindset a lot of times. The songs sometimes are going a whole different direction. You know what I'm saying? So I always, you know, I take him with me everywhere in here because of that, because he just is like, snap out of it. You know, the song is done. And then he'll stop me and be like, I'm not about to be here for another few hours. You know, like, so you can say it's not done. We're done. It's done for me, you know, that kind of thing. So we were at some concerts, you and I, we had a chance to, speaking of other artists, and I always ask this because I always want to know, when you're at a concert yourself, and you are, of course, are an artist watching another artist, and you and I saw some amazing artists about 3 weeks ago, Christopher Kenji and Silas for More. What are you paying attention to besides the enjoyment of the sound and the voices? What is Samri watching? What are you learning from that other artist?
Honestly, I'm obsessed with the human voice. That's number one for
Yeah.
me. And I'm obsessed with storytelling. So
Yes.
The pet peeve of mine, if I am watching a concert, even listening to records and I can't understand what people are saying, it's a huge thing for me, because I'm like, what is the point? Like, what is the point if I don't understand what you're saying?
The story,
words, right? So I'm always like, I'm very adamant about this. I mean, also music school drills this into you, especially in the classical world. Enunciate, like, I want to hear what you're saying. I know there's a lot of people who are famous for mumbling and not being clear, and it's more about the experience than the story, because sometimes you don't even understand what they're saying, you know?
Yeah.
But it's really important to me that I understand what someone's saying. And obviously, being able to sing really well is amazing, but the whole band experience, I love that. Just how, like, a bunch of people can be in the same kind of energy field and, like, they're small parts of a bigger piece. So when I see a band that's, like, well rehearsed, they're in the pocket, and you're not even listening to them individually, you're just experiencing the sound, and no one stands out, but everyone sort of morphs together. I really love that. I mean, I've performed with bands before and things like that, but I've never had my own band. So I really envy that about people who are, like, part of a collective, and then they make music together and they sound great together, because it's almost like dating. Like, it requires, like, a special kind of personal and musical connection, you know, to form that, which is
absolutely
great, you know?
So. Yeah. I always, you know, it's funny because when I see other artists, it's like, when I get excited, because of course I'm, you know, watching how they're, for one, setting up, and that was one of the things I watched with them, was this organization, you know, because we were able to watch one band, you know, come down and the other go up. And just everybody being in sync, you know, is a big thing for me. You know, and I think, and we'll find that out, you know, I'll be interviewing those guys too soon. And that was one of the things that that they talked about, like, you know, the enjoyment of the rhythm, you know, and not just the rhythm of the sound, but the rhythm of each other, you know, like piggybacking off one another. No one's louder than the other. And, you know, that whole thing, it's just amazing to hear that. So I'll be excited to interview them soon. So energy comes to mind when we're talking about bands and people synergizing together. So obviously the right people and having the right people around you as a musician is obviously crucial. Talk to me about what you value most in the friendships that you have and the people that are around you.
Friends or friends who are musicians?
Friendships, you know, the people that are around you, the people you call your friends, because that's a big word.
It is a very big word. To be honest, I think friends are literally the most important.
Yeah.
Should be the most important people to you because they're not obligated to love you. They're not obligated to give you their time.
True.
There are people who chose you and you chose back, you know, so there's a mutual understanding and respect. So friendships are very important. And your friends can make or break you, right? Because you're the sum total of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Yeah.
Which is true, you know. So I mean, to me, friendship is very, very important. But the one thing that I really love is like, I just love being friends with people who have a clear vision of who they are and what they want.
Absolutely.
It's so easy for me, that kind of friendship.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, yeah, we're doing the same. There's no quitting. There's no stopping. That's not an option. It's always like, how are we going to solve this problem? You know, these are the people who are going to talk you off the ledge, whatever you think you're doing. You know, you're not doing your best or whatever. They'd be like, girl, you know, who do you think you are? You know, what you did, look at what you're capable of. People will snap you back to reality and into fierce mode. So I am really fortunate enough to have lifelong friends who are like that, who are very consistent in their love and consistent in their passion. So passion is just a big thing for me. Like, yeah, I don't know life outside of it. So it's really natural for me to gravitate towards people who are very clear about who they are and what they want.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a saying, you know, that if you want to be, which is what you are, a musician, you should surround yourself with more musicians. You know, if you want to be motivated, you surround yourself with more motivated people, you know. So I think I've had to like watch myself even over the years, you know. I come from a very, very big family, just as many of us do. But some of them don't like the industry. You know, some of my family, they don't like the entertainment industry, and it can be a protective type of thing too. You know, wanting to make sure that you're going to be okay and realize what you're stepping into. But you know, if you're doing what you love, I think definitely God is always there and going to protect us, right? One other question I wanted to ask you is, in the haste of your daily life, because you are a busy woman, what are you not seeing?
Can you repeat the question, please?
In the haste of your daily life, what are you not seeing?
I mean, life is not perfect. Let's be honest. I think for me, I'm such a solo person. I create in solitary all the time.
Yeah.
For me, this is normal, but I know I have been told it's not normal. It's like hanging out with people or even collaborating with people before things are done. Just the whole human interaction. Yeah, I'm on the I'm on the lower end.
Yeah.
If I went back home, my people are very social. Even though I'm a solo person, at least I would be out once a week with friends or something like that.
Yeah.
With the American way of life and also being a working individual, a busy adult, and also a career musician, it's time with people is very rare for me. So I'm trying to get better at that, but you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. Well, speaking of being back home, what would you say is one of your favorite childhood memories?
Childhood memories.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so weird that everything comes back to music with me. Honestly, my best memories as a kid was just all has to do with music. You know, shows
Yeah.
I watched. Because when I was a kid, I'd be told to go to bed and I would hide in the bathroom or whatever just so I can watch, you know, music that was aired at night or whatever.
Yeah.
Or saving money to buy CDs and you know all that kind of stuff. Like, so I was just so obsessed with music, and yeah, and playing with friends, and my friendships and music has always been the best part of my life.
Yeah.
Music and friendships.
Well, you know, I asked you that because, of course, again, when I first met you, the first song that I heard, of course, was Forget About Mariana. And I basically, when I saw the visual, you know, with the cassette player, the headphone, it was like really, it took me to a place of childhood. Like it was like my memory was, you know, the Walkman, the headset, the Converse, you know, so it was so well put together. So talk to me about this visual, another visual directed by Jason Stokes, correct?
Yes.
And talk to me about, of course, just this is fantastic. So talk to me about the process of the sound and, of course, obviously the direction on this video.
So the song, like, I mean, this video, we were just like, I was just like, I want to do a 90s inspired.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, we could totally do that. And then we came up with the idea of the Walkman. We wanted the song, my song we were filming to be the title. It's my handwriting, whatever, right? So it's a Sony, it's a vintage. I mean, I still have that Walkman.
Do you, Samri? Oh my God.
I still have it, and it's a vintage one. It's not even like a
classic.
It's a classic. So we were just like, oh yeah, we want Converse. We want to do these things, a fanny pack, but make it modern. So, and even the box braids, right? We went all 90s. But that's the thing about the song is where the beat is so fun, right? So I wanted to do 90s very light fun, but the story is not, even though it's like, it's almost comical, it's almost like a satire, but it has like a big, huge meaning behind it. And it's also one of the most controversial songs in the album.
Wow.
Because Fikr Bamaria means love in Amharic. Amharic is the language that I'm singing in. So I am literally telling a guy, if there is love, show me, right? Because I'm talking about how society raises men.
Yes.
Okay, that's literally how the verses are. They're like, oh, you're telling us to love these tall, dark, handsome boys. How did you raise them? Their love, show me, right? If there is, this is literally targeted towards Black men, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Love, show me. So there is a lot that go into it because society shows us one thing, especially as women, as girls, what to expect, right?
Yeah,
that's not the expectation that's being met on the other side, and men are not being taught to be the guys that women are expecting them to be. So this is not even like a diss on men. This is a diss on how society is raising men. The reason why men are the most dangerous, right? Out of like, you know, all these things, if you see the stats, you'd be like, how 50% of the population is female? How is all the crime or all this geared towards men? Why is that happening? It's because of how we're raising our boys and the people that they're seeing and the people they're imitating, right? Some guys thought I was fighting for them. They're like, oh, finally a song that says this is not your fault. This is society as a large has responsibility in this. And then some people took it as you're dissing men, yay for dissing men. So I was like, no, I'm raising a question. I'm asking a question. I'm not giving the solution. I'm asking the question, right?
Yeah.
We have all this pride, but that's empty if we're not, you know, if the follow through is not there, right? So this is asking society, like, but even though the chorus says, if there's love, show me, as if I'm talking to a guy. But this is basically an observation of how men are raised in society and what their roles are. So it's controversial and it could mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Some of the verses go to specific storylines, but that's the gist of it. And looking at the visuals, I know that's not what it conveys because it's a fun.
That's correct. I was just gonna say, yeah, you would never, especially because I don't know the language. I'm like, what? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
my whole time.
This is the one that has the most mixed reviews.
Well, it's funny because I'd just be jamming, honey. Okay.
Yeah, like most people who understand it, they'll be like, they'll give me their version of what they think the song is. And I'm like, if that's what it means to you, cool. Right? I never really give my version of it. I'm asking questions instead of giving answers, really. So, you know, if you can back it up, you know, show us if you can back it up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So would you say the backlash, is it from American men? Is it from Ethiopian men? Who was this coming from when you would hear this? The men.
People were just like, and most of the time it's not even like Western born Black men, African men, even people who are back home. The thing is, I realized, and I usually like, I don't get my feelings don't get hurt by anything. I'm always like, this is a perspective. Everyone has an opinion, and opinions evolve. So I don't usually engage, but the only time I engage with comments is when people take one line out and make that to be the whole story or the whole meaning of the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a line in the song where people be like, how could you say this? And I'm like, listen to the whole thing. I'll just comment and listen to the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like usually people listen to these kinds of things with defense mode on. You know, they're just like, oh, this is a song about girls or about dissing men, and then they're listening to it like that. I can see that they're trying to find a problem, you know?
Yeah, but there's some people that's just like that, just want to just kind of depict things apart, you know what I'm saying?
And I'll be like, no, listen to the song. Even some of my heartbreak songs, there's a song that like where a girl says like, men have turned into beasts and love has become a poison. It's the rough translation. This is a person who's going through depression, the depression stage of grieving, right? This is a moment where you feel like, I hate everyone and I will never love anyone again. That's the story. But then they're like, how could you say this about men? I'm like, I did not say this about men.
Crazy.
This is what she's going through right now. Listen to the whole song. So people will pick and choose and make meanings for themselves.
Yeah.
As an artist, your job is not to please people, it's to create a body of work that tells a story. So I'm like, listen to it. Because the people who listened when I actually said that, and they're like, oh, I actually listened back to it, and now I'm getting so many different, you know, different messages from it. And I'm like, that's the whole point, is to ask the questions that are gonna make people think. And actually think their way of life is not the only way of life. There's a different perspective. And if you're a guy, you should always be listening to women if you want to know what we feel and how we think, right?
Ask,
So that's why I'm like, just listen to it. So I'm not necessarily attached to these products as in my pride and joy. This is my stance for the rest of my life. This is just my observation as an artist of the community that I grew up in.
I love it. So wise, you know, and that's again what we should be receiving from all of this, you know, an artist for one, in rare form, but of course in artist form, you know. Do you see yourself, because you know this industry is filled with so many places to go. You are an incredible singer. I've told you that before, time and time again, vocal performer. Can you see yourself going into acting, into modeling?
Acting? My gosh, shoot me right now.
Well, you're super funny, Samri. You know that.
I am sarcastic, okay? It's my love language. It's a defense mechanism. It's a lot of things. It's also tradition. Where I come from, we're very sarcastic, and we don't see it as sarcasm because I'm very bland in terms of sarcasm.
Right.
People I'm
like, right.
But out here, I'm a beast, right? Because people, I'm like, no, I'm just sarcastic. But honestly, I see myself writing screenplays than acting.
Ooh.
I really don't like acting. If I were an actor, I would die broke and starving. And
oh my God.
I really don't like acting. So yeah, maybe I see myself acting, obviously acting out some of the characters I write for music videos. That's as far as acting. I have no passion for it. As far as modeling, the same. I have modeled for some people before, like for shoots and things like that. Or
I could see modeling, definitely. Yeah.
People want me to be in music videos, but I'm not necessarily attached to that
no
at all. Like, I appreciate people who are great creators and models, and but that's not my thing. Maybe if I go into clothing or something like that, or I might model my own merch or something. Yeah, but it's not I'm a musician through and through, and I'm a writer through and through. So those will always be, writer and singer will always, musician will always be the forefront.
Absolutely. Did you do the styling on both the visuals there that we saw?
Yes. I mean, I did all of the makeup, the
Well done.
wardrobe choices. I mean, obviously in collaboration with my director because we had to be like, oh, what's the color scheme? And
Yeah.
I always had to run some things by him. But yeah, 100% of that. I mean, Kasana was shot in a desert. I did all my entire makeup in a desert.
Oh my
So
God.
5 different looks and hair as well. And I try to keep, I mean, I love natural hair. I love black
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
For Kasana, it's because it's an empowering song. So I didn't want to do anything fake. Like I had no fake lashes, no fake hair, no fake nails. Like I
Yeah.
try to keep everything as natural as possible.
Yeah.
And I love that because there will be a girl watching this.
Yes. That I
Looks
can
like
be
me.
myself. I can wear
Yeah,
my,
so
yeah.
I think that's important in music. It's really important. And yeah, I love black hair. That's just my thing. I love black hair. And recently online, I've been getting this thing where people are like, that's not her hair. That's fake.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and black girl saying this. And I'm like,
That's so
I love
stupid.
black hair. This is my hair.
This is her hair. Look, she has
Yeah.
beautiful hair, by the way.
Yeah, so like I get that, and I don't even get. I'm not someone who gets
That's sad.
offended, but I'm like, honey, for the sake of argument, it is my hair, and
It
it's
is her hair.
beautiful. There's nothing wrong with anybody's hairstyle or hair
Yeah.
texture, and and I'm African. I know how to do black hair. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm like, no one's gonna tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a non-negotiable for me. I don't mind if you straighten your hair. We straighten our hair.
Well, the thing is, it should be more, without even saying, is that your hair? Just if you just think it's beautiful, your hair is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't even think people have to even ask. If you like it, I had a woman the other day, and this was a Caucasian woman, and she was just like, "Your hair is beautiful," and I just said, "Oh, thank you." I don't have to go into what it is, if it's mine, if it's not. I just said it, and she didn't ask me if is that your hair. The first thing, it was just more, I love your hair, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I
exactly. Because
I think if women, especially us as women, could get to that point of just not hating, hello, and just say,
one girl, she was so adamant. She's like, no, she's wearing a weave on one of my videos. And I was like, oh no, it's my hair. And then she was like really adamant that it's not my hair. And I told her weaves are beautiful. Any hairstyle is beautiful. This just happens to be my hair. It's just what it is. It's not like it's my hair or combined. No, it just happens to be my hair. You can wear your hair however. But there's this whole policing people's hair and how they wear
oh my God.
things like that. And where I come from, that's not a thing. We go to the hair salon, we get our hair straightened, we wear curly, we braid.
Do whatever we want. It's our hair. We do what we want to do.
It's your hair, and I'm like, do whatever you want. So this whole policing thing, like, it doesn't hurt me, makes me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
and it's usually us. So I think it's really sad because it's our people. It's Black people, doing this to one another, and that's just that's a whole nother segment in itself. But staying on the topic, it is something that we do need to help each other on because it's literally it's ignorant, and it shows other people the ignorance, of just how we treat one another. You know what I'm saying? So, and I there was a young lady who was Caucasian, and I said to her, "This is interesting. This just happened yesterday." I said, "I love your hair." Like this woman said to me. I was saying it because I was like, "I love your hair," because we literally were wearing the same style. It was like part in the middle, just waves. Da, da, da. So I said, "I love your hair. I wonder why." She was like my waitress, and then I'm just saying, literally, we're wearing the same style. She literally pulled up her hair and showed. She was like, "Yeah, it's a sew-in." I was like, "Oh my God." But it was the whole point. It was funny. It was natural, but it was cute because she's like, "Let me show you. Like, this is not even my hair." So we're so used to seeing, talking about weaves and other things on Blacks only, where it's so many people who are Caucasian and Latino and with that straight kind of hair that you would never even question. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why is it a question that if it's a Black person, whether they're having natural hair, cornrows, twisties, a weave, why is it a problem?
That's also why sometimes I comment, no, it's my hair, not because anyone's validation will do anything different to me or to my hair. It's so people will know, like, this is Black hair. Black hair can do this too.
Anything.
And when people tell you your hair can't do this or can't be this length or whatever, and some people straight up argue like Black hair doesn't grow that much.
Oh my God in heaven.
No, black hair grows however long you want it to grow, you know?
Tell them how you grow your hair, Samri.
Yeah, and also like what was the other opinion? Was one of the other popular opinions was, no, she's mixed. She must be mixed to have hair like that. And I'm like,
yeah.
No, honey, I'm just
Silliness.
black and this black hair. Black hair is very varied. Forget what, you know, forget what this world has told you about black hair.
Everything very versatile. We can do so much. That's why we can braid our hair because of the texture. You know,
we can do so much. And also there's so many different styles and structures to our hair.
To our hair type, yes.
People think 4C hair is the only type of black hair. No, that's not the only type of black hair.
Absolutely
we are so
not.
varied. Our hair can do so much.
Yeah.
And this is also like, so when I see a comment like that, I will also say no, because people will see my hair and be like, oh, I have to do something to my hair to look like her, or my hair doesn't look like this because I am this and this. No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your blackness.
Yeah,
every type of blackness is valid and perfect. So,
and there's so many protective styles. I mean, I think you touched on it. Like when we had met that day, you're like, I'm twisting my hair. My cousin does it a lot. Like she's in the middle right now planning for a wedding, and she was twisting her. She twists her hair. It's a growing mechanism. It's a protective style. And then to get there,
braids every day,
rocking them.
A lot of hair. I can't do this.
Yeah. And can you imagine getting up every day, having to be at work at 7 or 8 o'clock, and having to just
Have you met my hair? My hair will be like,
that's your hair. That's why
I'm not going to work today. That is what's
calling in again. Okay. Not her day. But yeah, it's just the whole point. We need to do better. That's all I was about to say with all of that. Like, we can do better. There are people in with beautiful hair, that just sometimes, like we're talking about, put it in protective styles. Long hair, may put a wig on, may put a weave on. It's whatever you feel like doing and being for the day. So in closing, we can stay on hair like ever. In closing, I want to say thank you, Miss Samri, for blessing me again with your presence, for sharing your amazing sound with us. Kasana. As always.
I'm giving you that song. You can have it.
Thank you. It's all right. I've already taken it. It's on my playlist. Samri, it is. It's on my playlist. And take us out and let everybody know on all of your socials and where they can find you, and anything else that we don't know about, TikTok, the gram, and anything else that you want to share with us.
I am on everything.
On everything.
I'm on everything. Instagram and TikTok handles are the same. Samasafa, SAMASSEFA. I think my YouTube is youtube.com/Samri. Facebook is also Samri. Samri for Spotify and all other streaming platforms. I also have a Pandora. So yeah, you can find me on anywhere you listen to music. And you should be able to find my debut album, Sakes, on all of them. And yeah, come hang out. Say hi on social media. I usually respond to all messages on Instagram. Not so much Facebook, but yeah, on Instagram.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this incredible interview, of course, by now you're on YouTube. You're on the Face Behind the Brand YouTube channel. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, so you can see the next interview coming up. This, of course, has been an incredible encore presentation with the amazing recording artist Samri, episode 131. And I appreciate you for watching. Stay tuned. Peace. ይወዳሉ ቀይ እንደ ዓላማ ሰንደቅ ከሩቅ የሚታይ ብለው አሳድገው ወንዱን አሳብደው ኧረ አይጣል አበሻ ወንድ